Hi everyone. Well, I don't see much viewers right now, but that's okay. Maybe people will join in later. That's fine. We'll just wait a couple of seconds. I see Jennifer is watching, my very, very best friends in a country far, far away. I'm based in the Netherlands. My name is Brenda Bakker, and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is my first live in a style like this, so I hope you like it. I'm specially dressed as my logo, so you would recognize me, and I'm the true one for this live broadcast. Let's wait just a couple of seconds. I can show you already what we're going to do. I have to put on my glasses because otherwise I can't see anything. So I put on my old glasses because my new glasses have tinted glass in there, so I won't be much visible in my eyes, and I think that's very bad if that doesn't work. So let me check my screen into my iPad and let's get started. We were waiting in the different chats. Okay, two chats going on. Jennifer, oh my gosh. How did I manage to do that again? I'm sorry, this is my first time, so I think a lot of things could go wrong. So forgive me for that. Gabby, thank you. Hi, welcome to join me. Also, Bentai Creations. I hope I say that the good way. Bentai, I see you almost every day on my Instagram account. Thank you for that, for your support. I love that. Closing YouTube and it works. I don't know what's happened because maybe I did a lot of testing. Bianca, hi and welcome. Oh, she's my former cake friend. I was a cake decorator before I went into Procreate. So, and Bianca was living here and she's now living at the other side of the country. So I don't see her much anymore, sadly. We still got our dog thanks to her, because we watched her dog a couple of years ago and we were directly in love with her dog, and now we have our own funny little, well, not little, we have got a Bernese mountain dog, so it's not little. Bianca is the one, she told me I have to do something with my Procreate, and now she does Procreate herself, and that's awesome, and she's going way up, so that's good. I'm going to change my screen now. I'm going to tell you what we're going to do today. And that is a lot, but I also think it's good for beginners because it won't be that hard. We're going to use Procreate native brushes. I don't know if you already opened your brush pack. I'm going to change my camera right now. I'll make it a little bit straighter like this. And thank you, Jennifer. She's so excited to see me doing well. Yeah, I had a couple of bad weeks. I'm sorry for that. I'm almost back, I think. I hope. I hope you already have this brush pack set to go. It's all Procreate native brushes. I posted it on my Instagram before. It's the 6B pencil, your dry ink, the noise brush, the willow charcoal, the short hair, and if you want you can also choose the 4No brush. And I can't remember exactly where I got them from, but they are all in your Procreate settings. So I hope you already have those packed, so everyone can draw along with me. Hi Anita, welcome. So nice of you, all of you, to join me. It's 8 p.m. in the Netherlands. Well, I'm a little bit late, but that's okay, so everybody can join in. And it's still sunny out there. It's a little bit warm in the room I'm in. And maybe I end up with a curly bob line because my hair is especially blow dry today. I put on some makeup, my clothes from my avatar, so you can see who I am. So I hope I will be doing well. So forgive me if anything goes wrong today. So it's my first time like this, but I'm very excited to do it like this. And I hope you have the time to set this. Do you already have a brush pack like this? Give me a thumbs up if you have. And I can show you what I drew here is a little bag. In January I sketched a bag, and it's from an Instagram account called Van Mouths, and it was very fun for me. I just wanted to draw something and I didn't have something in mind to draw, so I went looking for inspiration, and then she sent me this one. So this is the one I'm going to draw with you together today. So I hope you will like this. And we're going to do this from scratch, doing it very slowly. I hope I'm not going too fast, and otherwise you can give a sign in the chat. I will look at the chat regularly to see if I'm not going too fast for you. And I just want to tell you something, because something awesome happened today. And let me check my other iPad. Today, yay! The Pigeon Letters. This year I'm a proud member of the Pigeon Letters design team, and my first blog came at her website today. So if you go to thepigeonletters.com and you tap blog and tutorials, you can see here my new blog about how to illustrate a gouache plant using Procreate. So I hope you will like that too. So if you don't have enough of me after this evening, you can always draw that one as well, and maybe otherwise you can draw that tomorrow or in the weekend somewhere. I just wanted to share that with you. Also in the chat I see my dear friend Jennifer Nichols. Most of you already know her. She's also one of the best friends I could wish for, and she also helped me to create my classes for SkillShare and how to set everything up, and I'm very grateful for her, calling her my friend. So Jennifer, all my love for you, and I hope to meet you up in the next October when I will fly to the United States. Let me check. I'm on flight mode. Yes, and why is my everything is still visible? I wanted that to be off. So I hope I've set everything off right now. And let's create a little bag. So I hope you'll be ready for me. Can you tell me where you're from? Most of the people I already know from where you are. I see Lilian Oliveira from Brazil. Buenos dias. Yeah, you speak Spanish, right? Yes. I don't. No hablo español. I see someone from Canada, I think. The Canadian Pulse must be from Canada. Hi and welcome. Let me know where you're from and what your time is at this moment. Here it's about 8:12 in the evening. And tell me about your time zone. I would love to hear that. Gabby is from Germany. Yes, she's my neighbor country. I hope to meet you once too, Gabby. So we're not far away. I think it's a 4-hour drive, I think. Well, maybe I can do that. If the gas will be cheaper in a short amount of time. Well, I know the gas is a little bit... Brazil's Portuguese. Well, I don't speak Portuguese. No, I'm sorry. 12 a.m. in Seattle. Brazil, 3 p.m. Okay. Oh, that's funny. Gabby and I are in the same time zone, yes. Well, we're going to start today to draw with these pencils. We're going to make a drawing like this. It's very beginner friendly. We'll take it step by step, and I hope you will follow along, and I hope you have fun. And if something goes wrong, I hope you will forgive me. I will try and do my best. So for this one, we're going to create a new canvas by hitting the plus sign and the plus sign up here. I'm going for my Instagram ready square. So I'm choosing my 2048 pixels by 2048 pixels. and it's automatically set to 300 dpi, which is great for printing already. And on my iPad Pro 12.9 inch I've got 444 layers. Don't worry if you haven't got the same amount, because we're not using more than 30 layers today. And my drawing, I've checked it, it was about 24, 25 layers. But I'm a little bit messy in my layers sometimes, so it could be something more or something less. So let's create it. And we've got our canvas ready. And now for the tutorial, I will show and add in my reference picture. So I go to my wrench tool, hit canvas, go to my reference, and I've got my picture here ready to import. Let me check. So I created a picture of the bag, and that's very convenient to have it in this drawing, so we can take it like here. Maybe make it a little bit smaller. Sometimes I'm hitting in the wrong place. You will see that. Yeah, of course it doesn't work like this. Well, not too much in my face. So here I've got my canvas. Can you see everything quite well? I hope it's clearly visible for you. Just a normal Coke. I had my Bacardi before, but this is just a normal Coke. So what we're going to do is start by sketching, then we're going to color block it. And after we gave everything a color, we're going to make some highlights, some shadow, and some texture in it. So let's start with the sketch today. So we're going to my 6B pencil, and that's the one we're going to sketch with. If you see the back, you can see it's a slightly rectangle, almost a square, but it's slightly wider than it's in its height. So you can draw like a square, and it doesn't have to be very neat, just a quick sketch. It's just to get the feeling of your pencil on the canvas. I'm going to put up my chair a little bit higher, so I hope I'm still in plain sight like now. So I think this looks okay. We can also always make changes later to the sketch, that's okay. But I think I've got almost a square, just a little bit wider. And then let me see at what I can see. I can see there is a little bit of an envelope kind of thing that's almost halfway. So I'm going to create that as well. Maybe to the middle point like so. I see it's a little bit rounded at the bottom. You know, you just have to sketch what you can see right here. This is also a little bit going with rounded edges. So I think this is a little bit higher, and I'm going to get rid of this one. So I can still see the roundness of that part. Yes, underneath that I can see a little bit of, you know, some covering, some, how do you know what we call it? We call it a flap, een flapje eroverheen. So, and underneath that I can see a little pocket as well. I can see some, how do you call it? I don't know what it's called. We call it a little bit of ringen, little round shape. And I created, on my former drawing, I created some leather around it that goes behind the bag. And I can erase the middle part, what I don't want to see. Makes it more clear. It's just a rough sketch right now. And I can see also this one. It's a little bit of diamond shape. And it's halfway a little bit. I'm going like so. Maybe a little bit smaller. And it goes a little bit below the back, maybe not too much. And then it goes upward. Remember, it's just a sketch. It doesn't have to be precise. It is round. It's double like so. And then it goes on top of it again. And here is something like this and a little thingy coming upwards. So now I'm going to erase the parts I don't need to keep it clean. So I can have it more visible what I should draw on top of what. This is on top. I'm going to get rid of this one. This one isn't visible. It's behind the letter up here. This one was way out of line. Thankfully, we have an iPad. Well, this is also not about a perfect drawing. It's just to have fun. And I don't like it if anything is too perfect at all. I think this one has to be a little bit more to the left. It's not precisely in the middle. So I can make the sketch a little bit like selecting freehand. Let me cheat a little bit with this by removing it just a little bit to this way. So it's more in the middle, I think. Yeah, nobody would notice that. If we don't tell, they won't notice, right? I think they won't. Yay for the iPad. I think the sketch is ready. I want to hear from you if you're already having the sketch ready. I'm going to wait. And if someone wants to chat with me, give a thumbs up if you already have the sketch ready. Are you watching or are you drawing alone? I want to hear that too. I know I've got a couple of seconds delay. Mostly it's about 20 seconds. Can you please give me a thumbs up if you're ready? Bianca's already ready. Yay. It's fun because, yes, now it's also visible in my chat. So I'm watching my YouTube live at my iPad, and I'm also watching the stream on a video, on my streaming device behind it. And my YouTube is way faster than my live stream is. I also see I'm not very visible at my YouTube. Watching and eating lunch. Of course. Well done. I'm very fake in my video. I don't know why that is. I hope the iPad is still visible. And everything is still visible. Gabby is ready. Great. Well, let's get on to the next thing. What we're going to do. We're going to make a little bit of a cleaner sketch from this. So I go to my layer, I reduce the opacity by hitting the N, and then you can take the slider with the opacity a little bit down. I could create a cleaner sketch from this, but I think I did okay. Otherwise I have to trace this sketch and go from there, but I think this is good enough to go. So now we can play with the colors. And for that, I'm just cheating a little bit, I'm going to take my color picker and choose the exact color from this one. It said it was dark green. Well, it's more of a grayish black, so I'm going to change it a little bit to the gray area. And I go to my dry ink brush. I go and make a new layer, and I put that layer below my drawing, below my sketch layer. And also I'll be going to take this one to multiply, so I can see it all the time. By hitting the N, and all the way on top there's a multiply. Then the drawing will be always visible on my painting colors behind it. So when I have my dry ink brush, I'm going to trace the back side of the bag. I'm always working from back to front, and that's possible because the dry ink brush is an opaque color, opaque brush, so that's okay. So I'm going to draw with a dry ink brush. You see my lines aren't very straight, but that's okay. I don't want to draw, it's making a weird sound, I've cleaned my iPad. I don't want to draw very digitally. I want to draw like it was handmade and hand-drawn, otherwise I could have created a photo. I don't want to create a photo, I just want to create a digital drawing. So I'm going to fill it all the way. And if I zoom in, you can see there's a little bit of white space in it, and that's because of the dry ink brush. And yes, I could do a drop fill, but then the whole color would be black, and I don't want it. I rather color it in and just make the size of the dry ink brush a little bigger so it goes faster. And just color it in. I also think this is the fun part of drawing, so why skip that? And if you think, maybe you can hear it, maybe you don't, I have got an, how do you call it? A paper-like screen protector. So it doesn't sound like I'm drawing on glass, and it's also not that slippery. So this is just all the way filled in. It's not truly black. Maybe I will be lightening it again because it's very black in my screen now. And if I zoom in, you can still see the pixels in it. So that's what I like. So it stays a drawing and not a complete picture perfect photo. So the next one I'm going to do is take this brown and create this piece of the bag. And I think my drawing is not as much visible as I want to, so I'm going to change the opacity a little bit more. And now I can see it, and if I can't see it quite good, I just can reduce the opacity of this one for now. On top of the black layer, I'm going to create a new layer, because this is also on top of the black part of the bag. I'm going to choose my color picker again, take this color, see if I like it, and maybe I will change it, maybe I'm not. We're going to do the exact same thing. So we're going to draw this maybe a little bit smaller to start with, even smaller. And yes, it's not perfect straight lines, but I like it like that. Go behind it, behind this little flap here, and then I could color it in already. And I went a bit out of line here, and I'm going to erase that. And the erasing part, I will do that with the same brush by hitting my eraser and keeping my pencil there. It automatically changes to the same brush with the eraser, and that's awesome because then I have the same vibe from my eraser, so I don't have a straight line. If I would erase with like for example a monoliner, it would have a very straight edge, and that's weird with something that's drawn so well in this style. Let me check from a distance. I could zoom out, but I have my screen in front of me, so that's okay. I'm going to turn up the opacity of this one again, because I want to take the same color approximately like we have here, but then turn it a little slider upwards to the gray, a little dash, because for my feeling this would have more light, this piece. It doesn't in the picture, but I wanted to have more light for the sake of this drawing. So I'm choosing a slightly different lighter color. I'm going to create a new layer on top of this. We're building it from back side to the front. So that's why we're going to create a new layer on top of this. And can I see it? Yes, it's a little bit visible. It's okay. Maybe I should turn this off again a little bit so I can see it more clearly. And the reason why I'm coloring it all the way like this is because when I make some changes, or if, well, like for example, if I only drew this and this flap that will come over it won't cover it all, you see some white behind it. So that's why I'm coloring it all the way in. Just a couple of seconds extra, but it will save you in the end and having no mistakes there. So, like that. And then on top of that, we're going to create the brown for this one. And that's the fur, but we are going to work on that later. Just picking a color picker. It's too dark what I've chosen, so maybe I'll lighten it up a little bit, create a new layer on top. Yes, I already had that. And go to my dry ink, check. And I'm going to create this part here. Make sure it comes over the black one behind and color it in. Let's get the color straight up and let me see how it looks like this. I think we're getting pretty close. Can everybody keep it up so far like this? I'll just wait a couple of seconds. Then we're going to do the upper part of the letter, like here. So I'm going to pick the color again, create a new layer. I made a scratch somewhere. Where did I do that? I can't see it, but I can see it here. Oh, maybe it's underneath my... Yeah, there it is. I want to get rid of that. It happened by accident. So I took the color from this letter here and let's get it all back. Yes, create a new layer on top. And there we're going to draw that letter part. Maybe a little bit more blackish. A little darker. Then we have all different kind of colors there. Maybe a little bit smaller. And color it in all the way. So it's just first about color blocking everything. We call this part a gesp. What is it called in English? I don't know. I had to search it before we started this one, but I didn't do that. That's not good for me. Color, pick the color again. Create a new layer on top. Oh, I did this wrong. I have to go to that part. So I'm going to erase that part. And I'm going to create it on a new layer. Go back to the previous color. Check, check, double check. Because we're going to draw on the layers on top we just created, so we have to keep everything on separate layers. And then we create a new layer on top, go to the color we just picked. Dry ink brush again. It's too big. It's a little bit rounded at the top. It doesn't have to be precise. It's okay if it's not precise. It's a drawing and it's a fun drawing. It doesn't have to be picture perfect. If you know me and my lessons, you know I'm not picture perfect. Neither are my drawings. And I create a new layer on top of that for that small little thingy up there. It's on eraser, so it doesn't work. And this is the same layer I'm going to make these parts on. Do I do that on? No, I don't do that on the same layer. I'm going to layer all the way at the bottom. That's where I'm going to create this one. And also these I'm going to draw all the way, even though I'm covering it up with leather again. And on top of this one I'm going to draw the leather, and the leather may be the same color as we used here. And just color it behind the bag. So put him a little bit over the golden part, because the leather is a little bit thicker than the ring is. So, and let me check that if I get rid of the sketch, I can see the bag right now. Is it complete? I think so. Do I miss something? When I was drawing it before, at the end I was seeing, oh, I missed the rings on the side, so I think this looks okay. I'm pretty satisfied with it right now. I want to ask you, give a thumbs up if you have it ready until here. I wait just a couple of seconds. Am I going too fast for you, or am I going too slow? Is it doable up till now? Just let me know in the chat. Bianca is ready. Thank you for letting me know. Gabby is ready. Thank you. I'm so curious about what your bags will look like later. I hope you will show me at Instagram. For most of you know me already on Instagram. De Kwebbel, she who talks too much is my name. Great speed. Thank you, Bianca. Awesome of you. You can follow along because you're not on Procreate that long. So that's awesome. Anita is ready. Okay, let's go for round 2. We're going to create the shadow parts of the bag. For me, the light comes from this angle, so the shadows will be on this angle. And we start from the bottom up from the bag. So I'm going to the black layer, this layer, and I'm going to create a new layer on top, put it on a clipping mask, and I will go to my noise brush. I take this color, and now we're going to see if it's visible. I'm going to turn this all the way into black. And let me create with a nose brush. Yes, I can still see some shadows now. That's awesome. I can hardly see it on this in front of me, but on the camera I can see it does something. So we're going everywhere where the light doesn't hit. So this is all the way in front of the back. If you would see it from this part, you can see this is lighter than here. You can see this is also a little bit lighter, but I'm going to create a little bit shadow here, and also this part is darker, and I like it to give it more shadow at the bottom underneath it, because then it will give more depth to the drawing. So we can play a little bit with what's true and what isn't true. So I'm going all the way around. A little less on this side, but it's going to get some depth anyway, but not as much as the left side. Just a little bit, so it would give a little bit more depth. And as we're doing that, we can also give it a highlight as well. And for the highlight, I go to the same color we used before, but then bump it up a little bit more. Normally I do it in the L shape, but as we're already on the edge, mostly I go a little bit to the left and upwards for a highlight, and a little bit more downwards and to the right for the shadow parts. So I choose a lighter color for the highlights, then I choose a willow charcoal, and let's create in the same layer, I think that's great, a little bit of highlights and a little bit of texture. Mostly it will give a little bit more texture, but on this color it might be not as visible as I want. Well, I think it does okay. And now I see I forgot to give this a little bit shadow as well, so I'm going to my darkest color again and create a little bit of shadow. Wow, wrong brush, noise brush. A little bit of shadow here as well. And this is something we're going to do with almost every layer at this point. So I'm going to the layer above that, which is this part. I'm going to create a new clipping mask by hitting a new layer, hit it, type clipping mask. Do any of you already know what a clipping mask is? Because I didn't explain it right now. With a clipping mask, we can draw on every pixel you can see below. So you can only draw within here. So if I go with my black and I go here, it doesn't do anything, but it is visible at my clipping mask. So if I move my clipping mask, it will be visible, but it's only visible at the piece here. So I'm going to delete that part, delete it, no, clear, clear. And now I'm going to make, sorry, if I'm going to draw here, it's only visible at this part, not outside. So I can draw anywhere, but it's only visible in there. That's the great thing about the clipping mask. So let's clear that up. Let's create this color, create it a little bit darker, so I'm going downwards and a little bit to the right to give him darkness and also more saturation. Go to my noise brush, yes, I already have that, on a clipping mask on top of this color, yes, I'm there. And I'm going to do the same thing as we did with the black part. I'm going to create a little bit of shadow underneath it. Also on this part, and also create a little bit on this part as well, because I like the depth. And because I want it to have more shadow on this side, I'm going even a little bit darker there. So still a little dash. I'm going to do that again. So it's a little bit darker on this side than it would be on the other side. And you already can see now it has more depth, and that's what we are going to build up again. So I'm going to the layer on top of that. And we're going, oh, I forgot my highlights. Bummer. So I go to the original color and go with a reversed L shape and go to the willow charcoal and create some light texture in the leather. Yes, I think that looks fine. And now let's go to the layer on top of that. Put it on a clipping mask again. Well, the fun part about these tutorials is that you can learn it instantly and you can do and repeat it all the time. So I'm going to pick this color again. Create a little bit darker, so I'm going down and I'm going slightly to the right. Go to my noise brush again and create a little shadow here. Also on this side. And also my highlights, so go back to this color, upward a little bit, go to the willow charcoal brush again and create a little lighter texture. Yes, I think this would look lovely. Can you say that about your own work? I think we can. We do that too little. I'm going to do the same part on the top of this one. So I'm going to create a new layer, make it a clipping mask. I'm going to create some dark edges by picking up the color. Go with a little L shape, a little bit down, a little bit more saturated. Go to my noise brush again. And I go around this piece. And because you can't see very much color differentiation, I'm going to make it a little bit darker. Slightly, slightly. Yes, and go to the color for this one. Not too much on this side. And I think before we do the fur, we go to the back side and start with the leather up here and these rings. So we go all the way down to the rings. Take this color and go a little bit darker. Create a new clipping mask on that by hitting a new layer, hit clipping mask, and we make it slightly smaller. And here I will go on the inside of the ring. And here on the inside and the back side. Because you know the light hits from here. We also going to change this color a little bit lighter. And this time a little bit more lighter and maybe even more yellow. No, I don't think so. Let me check gewoon. Willow charcoal, very small. Is it small enough? Otherwise I'm going to pick another brush. I think that could be lighter. A little bit more yellow. Yes, now it looks more golden, I think. So sometimes you have to play with it and just check if you like the colors or not. I went a bit out of place here. Yeah, I think I like that. Going on to the letter on the side, create a new layer, create a clipping mask, do the same, choose the color, go darker, and with the noise brush, create a little bit of shadow. And you know, you've got a little bit of stitches here, so there it must also be a little bit darker. So you can play with that. Also doing that on this side. Did too much already, but that's okay, because we're going to take a lighter color, brighten it up again, choose willow charcoal for that one. And we can bump it up a little bit. So I think we already have our shadow here. And I'm just curious, what did I do? I don't know exactly what I did. Let me check first. Oh, we've got can do this clip here. There we have to also play with a clipping mask and the colors. So I can use the same colors we used here before. Noise brush. This part is almost all the way in the dark. If we check this one. And I think the inside is a little bit dark. The downside of this one. And if I go around, I'm going behind this part, so it automatically gives it more shadow. And I think that's pretty much visible right now. I can see I went on top of it, so I'm going to erase that part. So I'm going to the layer below, take my eraser, and I'm going to get rid of this part because it annoys me. And we're also going to take the highlighted color. Choose the willow charcoal again. And I'm going to give it some highlights on the clipping mask. I could directly see that I was outside of the lines. And go on the top and all the left sides. A little bit here, just a little hint of color. Yeah, I think maybe that could be a little bit darker, even more. Noise brush again, just to give it more contrast. I love contrast, so it makes it more shiny. And we also have to do that on the piece above. Clipping mask, we're almost there, I promise you. Is it still doable for you, or are we going too fast? Let me just wait. Maybe you can give me a thumbs up if you're ready again. Which section is the noise brush? Oh, what was it? Was it? I don't know. I'm so terrible at this. It wasn't in that. No. And you know, I've played with my brushes all over. So I made a pretty mess of everything I had. Is it in the charcoals? No. Maybe someone can help me? Touch-ups. If we didn't have Gabby, touch-ups. Why don't I have touch-ups? I knew I had it. I had touch-ups. Why don't I have touch-ups? If it's an original brush, you couldn't delete it unless it wasn't in an update. But I can't see the touch-ups. Why don't I have touch-ups? I knew I had it. But then when you have so much brushes, you can't see it anymore. Oh, it's now in my materials. In my materials. Maybe you have materials. And that's also where I got the short hair from. But you can use any brush you like. I think you're, Anita, you have Procreate a long time now. I think you have brushes that would match it up, so that's okay. We were with this little pin on top, so we're going to create some shadows as well. Have to get all those 300 brush sets up again. So that's why I mostly make different pieces from this. So on the down part, I'm going to create shadow on the left side as well. And then it's almost the same shadow as here. So I go to the layer below, I do that directly, and I'm going to darken that again because I want some extra darkness there. And then I go back to this piece again and create the highlights. Go to my willow charcoal, put it on top. And maybe darken even more at the bottom of this part. Yes, I think I like it, and maybe I will darken this even more also. So you can always go back and make some changes. And add more contrast. We're going to this leather piece here because that also has some shadows and some highlights. So go to this layer, create a new clipping mask on top of that, choosing the black one, create a little bit more darker, noise brush, yes. And for this part I'm doing the outline, and I'm doing it in the clip. Underneath the clip, because that is also where it darkens. It has some shadow. It also has some shadow here. And I'm going to do this all the way around. I'm going also make a shadow. Actually, in the whole inside of this one, I go round and create some shadows. I'm going to create the shadows in this outline. And on top of this one. And with the willow charcoal and a slightly lighter color, I'm going to create some highlights, and a lot of highlights here, because that is coming all the way on top. It's coming upward. Maybe this is too much. Let's do that again. For me it was great visible, but it shows up more on your end. Yes, and a little bit here in the middle. And I see I missed a spot here, so I'm going to that layer below again, and I'm going to redo that. I like this texture very lot. It gives me the texture of leather already. And I know Procreate already has a leather brush, but I don't like that. It's too much digital, and I like it when you can see it's actually drawn. So I go back to this layer and create a little bit of black color again underneath it, and close this gap. And now, for the most exciting part, we're going to do the hairs on top of this one. And I hope I can still remember how I did that. So I go back to this layer. I'm going on top of the shadow. Am I going on top of the shadow? Yeah, I can always change that. I can always change that. So I'm putting it on a clip. No, I'm not going to put this on a clipping mask. Why not? Because I want my hairs to go outside. It has to be a little bit fluffy. So I'm going to take the short hair brush. I'm going to set this layer to multiply. Am I right? Yes, I'm going to multiply. I made a little side note. You can see my handwriting, it's pretty awful. So I'm going to multiply. I'm going to the short hair brush. Did I already took it? Yeah, I already took it. And for the fur, I'm going a little bit in this direction. So I'm going to make short strokes. And yes, they're a little bit dark right now. I'm going a little bit outside of the drawing, as you can see. And it's a little bit dark, but that doesn't matter because I can also change the opacity a little bit later on to make it barely visible. But I want to see the strokes very properly. And you see, I didn't use a clipping mask because I want it a little bit outside of the drawing. And this is almost the only part where I do that. And I think it's already looking like fur. I think I like the darkness of this. For me it's way dark, but on the screen it looks okay. Well, let me leave it like this. I can always change it later. I'm going to create a new layer on that. And no, I'm going below that. Why? Because I want the black stripes within this drawing. So I put that one on a clipping mask, and this one may come above it. So now I'm choosing black. Make my strokes a little smaller. And I'm going to follow this pattern. So I'm going to size it up a bit for you. I hope you can see it clearly. A little bit smaller. So I go and let me start here. So we're going to create a dark shape here, a smaller one here, and a larger one here, a bigger one here. This one is going up, and one all the way. Well, it's approximately, you don't have to do it exactly, but it's just fun if it looks a little bit like this. And I don't like my double stroke here. I think I did something wrong. And there we instantly have our fur bag. And now on top of that we can also make some highlights. And for that I go to, let me check, a layer on top of this one. I set this one to screen, I believe, yes. And what color do I take? I think I'm taking the brown one again. So I choose the lighter brown. Sometimes you have to pick the color a little bit lighter, so check it, because there are a lot of darker colors in there. And let me see what that does on Willow Charcoal. And you see this area is lightened. So let me check if this works. Yes, but it's not clipped. You see, I go outside of the lines, so that's not right. I have to go underneath it, I guess, and then clip it also. Yes, that's what I was looking for. Now it's a little bit rounded at the edges. And I'm also going to do that at this side. Even though this isn't actually a highlighted part, because it's a little bit in the shadow, but I like it if it's good visible. I think this one is too much. So I'm going with the same brush and erase it a little bit. And that's the good part, I'm on a new layer, otherwise I would have deleted the fur instantly. I think I like the color of this one. Yeah. And now I'm going to put a very time-consuming job for you. The lucky ones of you maybe know, maybe have it, a knitting brush set. Then you can choose, is it knitting? No, it's stitching. Where are stitches? Stitches. Yeah, there's a set with all stitches, so that would be easy. But I'm going to be with you. I'm going to my my set, and I'm going to do it with the 6B pencil. This one has yellow stitches, so I'm going to my golden color again, and I'm going to layer all the way on top, so I can do everything on the same layer, and that's needed because I want to show you something in the end. So let's get your pencil ready, and everywhere you can see stitches, almost on every edge, just not the upper part, you can go and create some lovely fine stitches. Go ahead and have some fun. Try to make them consistent. And for those of you who can't keep up, you can finish this later. But I will do this exactly right now, so you can catch up with it anyway. I don't know if I can talk all the way through because it's very time consuming, but it's also very relaxing to do this. How many of you are still watching? Oh, okay. Fun to see there are a lot of you who can keep up and don't think this is too much tiring out, or too much boring. My hands are gonna get sticky because I have a little bit warm in this room. I see you have another messed up spot there. I'm going to delete that very soon. So, and here I'm going to do the stitches as well. Do you still like it? Even with this horrible job? You see, I could have gone for the easy way, but I'm not always doing that. Sometimes I do. This one is wrong because I turned on the black. And that couldn't be possible. It's looking more and more like a bag, right? So I'm going to this layer. Actually, I'm staying on the same layer, but I'm going to this piece of the drawing. That's what I meant. You have to have this on the same layer. And I will show you in a second, well, maybe in a couple of minutes, because this is going to take some time. And if you watch this during the replay, you can put it on fast forward, or you can draw along. It was promised to be a draw along, so I can't cheat with this, and I won't cheat. I don't like cheating. My stitches aren't even and they aren't quite right, but that's okay. As I said, I like it to be hand drawn and not too perfect. By the way, did I tell you the website of the Instagram account I got this from? Van Mouse. It's awesome if you would give her a follow and try some of her other bags. She would love to see that, because I think it's awesome. And she has lovely bags from it. And that's why I've put in this Forno brush as well, because it would give a kind of a leopard kind of look. And she also has that on a couple of her bags. And now for this part. And the fun part about this drawing, I've cleaned it too well, I think. The fun part about this drawing is it isn't very hard to do. It's just about layering, clipping mask, and not a lot of tricks. And that's what I like the most about this kind of drawings. Just like you would do it on real paper, you can almost do it, well, except for the fur brushes, but then you can take a pencil and then you can draw it by hand. I've spoken to Karin Luttenberg this afternoon. She is from Paper Fuel, and she might try this one with marker brushes, the Pro Marker, or yeah, I think she used Pro Marker brushes. And she will try to do it with those, and I think she would take pencils, color pencils for that. I'm going to check which layer am I on for this one. Layer 10, is that correct? No, it's not on that layer. Let me see, I think it's on this layer because that one is out of shape. No, it's not. It has to be, right? Let me try layer 10. If it says it's layer 10, yes, it is layer 10. Never go against a computer. Never be that stubborn. I'm too stubborn. I think we're almost there. We have to create some shadow underneath it. And for that, we're going to the layer below everything. So yes, it put automatically on a clipping mask, but when I lower him again, the clipping mask automatically hits off. I'm going to take a black. I'm going to my willow charcoal brush. And I'm going to create a shadow. Maybe a little bit bigger. I want a texture behind it, and lighter pressure here and more pressure directly underneath it, so that can be a little bit darker. And now I think this piece is a little bit much to the left, so I can pick and group the whole layer. I take everything with me by hitting the top one and swipe everything to the right. Every little part of it, even the layers I don't use anymore, because when I want to make some changes, it has moved with me. Choose group it, and all the way on top I can now choose group and move it all the way, everything at once. And now for the part of the stitches, why I made you do it all on one layer is because I want you to duplicate the stitches. Duplicate it. Select the layer below. Choose with black, choose fill layer. So now we've got the stitcher layers completely black underneath the yellow ones, and we're going to move that slightly. I will show you. I will zoom in a little bit. Maybe then you can see it more. So I'm putting it a little bit to the left and a little bit to the bottom. And now you instantly see some shadow behind the stitches. So it's even more the illusion of it popping out of the leather. And with that, I think we're done. But let me check. Let me check. I think we're done. Can I see anything different than what I did before? I don't know. Maybe I can give this a little bit more lightening on the top. Sorry. So I go to this layer on top, and I'm going to put it on add, no, screen, go to the brownish color again, and let me check with the willow charcoal, just hitting a little bit of lightening, just a little dash. Maybe that's already too much, but I can lower the opacity of it a little bit. Yes, I think it does something more for it, so I hope you liked it. This is our little bag. Now you did the same as I did. Yay! I think it looks great. Oh, I see I missed a piece here. Well, should we do that again? I didn't notice it before. I see it now way in my face. It's a very small bag, so I didn't notice it. I can do that. We can do that. Well, we have to just see where it is. It's on top of the brown leather, behind the black leather. So that's how we learn also to look at those things. On top of the brown, below the black. So it must be somewhere here, a new layer. Yes. And what color is it? It's a little bit gray, Can I see it in my picture here? Yes. Oh, you see it's gray and pink a little bit, pinkish gray. I just picked the color. We can put them in between if you like. You can skip it if you want, but I will put it here as well. If we want to do it, we want to do it the correct way, right? So, and place that also with a little bit of a clipping mask. Put a little bit dark. And we have to make very small brushes for that. I think here it's almost all the way in shadow. Maybe even a little bit darker. Yeah, and I have to create a little bit shadow underneath that. So I have to go underneath that and go darker, darker, darker. Yes. And I'm going to create a new layer of stitches because I've already moved the other stitches and then it would be hard. So I'm going to create an extra layer of stitches with the yellow part and the 6B pencil. Create some lovely little stitches right here. Just 3. Duplicate it. Select, go to your black, fill layer, and just move these a little bit. And I think we're done. Why did I miss that the first time? Maybe I wasn't quite awake. So, Bianca, you're right, the holes for the pin. Did I do that on my previous drawing? I don't know, let me check. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. No, I didn't. You see, I missed some things as well. Where should I do it? It doesn't matter, maybe just below this one. For this one, I'm going to choose the 6B pencil. I'm going around the clip, the pin, I'm sorry, around the pin. And I'm going to create one here. How does it? Oh, it just has one. You know, I did make this open, but ta-da! I did it the wrong way first time. That's why there aren't, but we can draw them. No worries. And there you can also play with a little bit of light and darkness in it. So maybe, mostly this will catch. Why doesn't it fit? Oh, I was thinking my pencil is empty, but it doesn't. Maybe it will catch some light on this side to make it more believable. You like it like this, Bianca? Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you for watching. I hope you liked it indeed. And I want to see your version of it, of course. I would like to see it, how you do it your style and your way. And I think it would be awesome. So this is my drawing for this evening and I hope you like it. I just stay here for a little while. I think we've done it about 1.5 hours. Thank you for your time. And do you have any questions? Because I would love to answer them. I didn't know how long it would take to create this, but we're doing it very slowly. And I have time for some questions if you want. And in the meantime, I want to tell some of you, but most of you already know, but maybe there are some people turning in later. I am also on Instagram as @DeQuebbel. She Who Talks Too Much. I would love for you to tag me if you create your drawing and show it to me, because I would love to see how you create this one. And I also teach more in-depth classes on SkillShare. I would love for you to follow me on SkillShare and follow my classes. I am intending to do more drawings like this on Instagram, on YouTube as well. And I would like to give you 2 more things. I'm also running a Facebook group together with my dear friend Jennifer Nichols, iPad Art with Procreate. A lot of you are already on there, but maybe some people aren't. So that's why I want to mention. And today I've got my first blog as a part of the design team on the Pigeon Letters website. So I would love for you if you take that class too, that tutorial, and I would love to see your results. So also tag me on the Instagram as @dekwebbel, and also tag Peggy Dean, who hosts the website of the Pigeon Letters. So thank you very much for watching this tutorial. I hope you had fun. I hope maybe you've learned something. And I would love to see you draw this bag, or maybe you will find to see something else to draw, and I would love to see that as well. Thank you very much for joining in, and I see there are no more questions coming, so I think that's it for today. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. And if you like this tutorial, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. It would help me a lot, and it will get more people to find this on YouTube. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.